Cindy, what are you going to do down there? You couldn't hear that. She's emptying the poopers. And with that, welcome back to Sailing Remission. If you could see behind me, we are leaving Tahiti again. Glad to be leaving Tahiti. We're heading up to Tikehau. It's a spot we've really been looking forward to going to. Everybody that goes up there loves it. It's about 170 nautical miles away. Plus, the reason we hurried to get out and want to get out today is there's a tropical wave coming. Supposed to have an excess of 40 knot winds. That's going to be hitting Tahiti sometime. Going to start sometime tomorrow, and it'll last for about 24 hours. So, going up to Tikehau, which is almost straight north, it's like 13 degrees from Tahiti. It'll get us past it, so we won't run into that. So we might have later today, maybe tonight, some little bit gnarlier winds. Shouldn't be anything worse than 20 knots, though. We're right now. We're crawling along at 9, so we may not get out of it in time at this speed because we're only going 2.5 to 3 knots. But it's nice to get out of Tahiti up to Tikehau. They got some great diving and a organic farm up there, which is pretty much the only one in all of the Tuamotus. So we'll go explore that. Maybe see some manta rays. Hopefully, see some tiger sharks. Maybe a hammerhead when we go diving. So. We're on our way. Looking forward to it. Hope you enjoyed this episode. The title on this episode is Scary Seas. Well, it definitely is that. It has been one wild night. That tropical wave either came in early, which it did, because we were supposed to have 18 knots of wind. But right now, you can read that. We're in plus 30 knots. Been like this all night long. And it's blown from a bad direction for where we want to go. We are 90 degrees off course. We're heading due east when we want to be heading due north. Waves, well, again, it never shows on camera. Even the camera is scared. It's going, just turned off. Well, like I said, we've had at least 4-meter swells. And, oh no, now we got water in our engine compartment. This is nuts. So, but it's too rough to go north. We'd be heading straight into the winds. So we're just going to keep riding it east. Try to keep it as comfortable as we can, but I've already got 3 reefs in the Genoa, 1 in the main. I got to put another one in the main. I just hate doing that when Cindy's asleep. In fact, how she's sleeping in this, I have no idea. Oh shit, here comes a big one. Oh. Definitely some scary stuff out here tonight. We are bouncing all over the place. Oh yeah, that had to be at least a 5-meter swell there. Because I'm sitting up here at 12 feet, and I'm looking up at the waves coming at me from the side. I need to get back to the helm, which is nuts. I was able to get a second reef in the main, so it's calmed us down a little bit. But we're still bouncing around pretty good. I'm not sure where we're going to end up. We're like straight across from South America, the way we're headed. And keeping me on my toes this morning. At least the wind's down to 34 knots right now. Down to 34. Jesus. Another update, and nothing's changed. I probably need to put a 3rd reef in the main, but can't do that by myself because I have to go up on the salon roof deck and to the mast and then clip in the main on reef 3. It's not an automatic reef 3. which is in these seas, even being, I would have my life jacket on, I'd be tethered onto a jack line, and you know, I would be safe, but I wouldn't like it up there right now. And again, I can't do it by myself, because then you'd have to lower the sail to the right spot so I could clip it in. I've only had to do that one time, and I had, I was on the Atlantic crossing, and I had my buddy Ed up there with me, because even up there, clipping in is very difficult. So my other option would be to drop the main completely, but I really don't want to do that too, because of these seas. We can get spun around pretty easy with just the Genoa up. So kind of sitting here trying to figure out what to do. And we haven't seen these kind of seas since our Atlantic crossing. And we've seen gusts, you know, and squalls come through, but this sustained in the mid-30s. And I hit 39.5 a few moments ago, which is the highest I've seen, you know, on this passage. Well, one thing that's weird is that the seas have come down a little bit. We're probably at 3 meters now, which that's nice. We're not bouncing all over or tipping so much. It was weird a couple times we tipped so much, you know, we're not going to tip over, but it just felt weird. I mean, we were riding high on one pontoon, so. They always say sailing's 95% relaxation, 5% terror, right? It's a little bit higher today. One tool at our disposal, which has been a godsend on this trip so far, is our radar. Before the winds came up really too high, what I was doing was we were watching the radar for the big squalls. We were able to maneuver around a few of them, and that saved us from some really big rains and big winds. You know, right now with the 30 plus knots, we can't do that. We got to go where the boat's going to take us. But last night, we're at least able to move around some of them. We had some friends, in fact, Denise, who I just certified, she been having trouble with their radar for the past week or so, and you know, we've had trouble with ours in the past. Thank God everything's working now, because I can also see, right now I can't steer around them, but at least I can see when they're coming in, and I can prepare for them, and maybe round up or down a little bit. But again, I can't go too much because of these huge waves that we've got. In fact, they're back up to 4.5 meters. As you can tell, I'm having trouble holding this camera steady because we're bouncing around so bad. But well, that's the latest update. Hopefully, the next update will be calm seas. I am definitely bringing out my optimist right now. Well, something else about last night I didn't mention. Here we are, we're trying to head north, going east, actually we're going a little south and east. Last night, out in the middle of nowhere, we saw a 54-foot monohull heading towards Tahiti. I mean, he was heading into this stuff. I didn't get that, but what kills me is that, you know, I bared away, and he just kept going straight. You know, wouldn't make a change. When he was going downwind, he could have easily moved more than we did, because I had to go into the wind in order to, you know, get some distance. And we passed about half a mile, but we were on near collision course before I moved. And I'm thinking, you know, courtesy says we should both move. Some people out here. But what I don't get is, why would he be heading into this stuff? Because behind us, it's definitely worse. If we're hitting high 30s here, Tahiti's got to be in the 50s now, maybe even higher. So I don't know. A lot of things out here I just can't explain. Another little update. Remission's rated as a 12 knot boat, which means, we could safely do 12 knots, no problem. Anything above that is more than what the boat's supposed to handle. I want to show you what we hit last night. That little number right there. Hope you could see that. But last night we got up to 13.8 knots. We had sustained between 10 and 11 for quite some time, which again is fine. 13.8, a little more than I want to do, and I'm sure that happened. I wasn't looking at it when it did happen, but I'm sure it happened. We're riding down a wave, which is the worst possible way you could do it, because then you could snowplow it into the wave ahead of you, and that's when the boat can flounder. And I'm not saying we were anywhere close to that, but it's just things to think of. Plus, you'd think with high 70 weather, all this wind, and this cockpit is 80% enclosed. Well, not quite, but I'm kind of cold. The thing about catamarans is we have very shallow keels. In fact, we only draw 4 feet of water. So one of the problems we're having, like I mentioned earlier, is that we're heading east when we want to head north. Well, our course setting is right now at about 55 degrees, which is pretty well northeast. And the problem is, with such a strong winds, we got a drift of a current, and our low draft, we're actually sliding. So instead of going 55, we're right now heading 91 degrees. So that shows how much we're sliding in the waves and not getting where we want. So the boat's heading northeast, but we're not going northeast because of the slides and the swells and everything else. So just kind of a thing about catamaran sailing. We're still off course. We're not heading due east anymore, but we are at 70 degrees. So we are heading a little north. It's kind of east-northeast right now. So it's better than what we were. I don't think we're not going to make it, unless things drastically change. We're not going to make our way to Tikehau, but possibly we can still get to my favorite spot, Fakarava. We have to average about 58 degrees in order to get there. So if the wind keeps dying, we might be able to move a little bit further north. We'll see. Okay, well, it's been about 8 hours since my last update. We've pretty much been getting consistently pounded. Let's say for half of that 8 hours, we're in the 30 plus range. For about the last half hour, it's gone down, but I'm hoping you can see this. And it's also right here. We got a couple big storms out there. Yeah. No telling what kind of wind is in there. I know there's a lot of rain, and it shows it's going to hit us pretty hard. We've turned the boat, try to slow us down, have them go past us. I think the first one will, but the second one, it's still in the red, and it shows it's going to hit us hard. Well, it looks like my strategy worked. What I did is I turned downwind so I could go alongside of these two squalls, because this way they would pass me on the side rather than hit me. So I had to turn all the way to 140, actually 145 at one point, but now they're definitely going to go past us. So I think it saved us a little bit of trouble. Even be on the outside of the squall, our wind went up to 34 knots. Well, we were, prior to me getting ready to do this, we were down to like 17, which was kind of nicer for a while. But I think it's going to work out good. I like this. Got a new day and a new update. This is not a fun one. We, because of the wind, we ended up going 135 miles off course. We are going to go into Fakarava instead of Tikehau. And it looks like we'll have a weather window on Thursday. Today is Monday, in order to catch it, to get that 135 miles back. But right now we're in the Fakarava channel, and the wind is coming right from the direction we're going. So we're going almost dead into it. In fact, we're at 10 degrees. Never want to go into the wind. So we're just pounding the waves. In fact, again, I don't know how well this is going to show up, but this is what we're dealing with. Yeah, this is not fun. So we got about 8 miles, 2 hours, because we're barely with both engines going, into 25 knot winds, barely making 4 knots. I have seen a lot of crazy things out here on the ocean, but this is one of the weirdest, or I would think stupidest, but he must know what he's doing. I know there's no way in this camera you could see, but if you look over towards land, I'd say it's about a quarter of a mile from land. There's a little fisherman out there. It's got to probably be an 18-foot skiff. These waves are huge. I mean, they're at least 10 feet. And he's out there, I guess, picking up his daily catch or something. Well, I wish afterwards, I wish he'd come by our marina or our anchorage. I'd buy whatever he has, just because that guy deserves it. Man, he's nuts. We are coming up on the Fakarava North Pass.
Okay, entering the Fakarava Pass. This should be Tikehau. But for some reason, the wind and the sea decided we needed to go somewhere else. Are struggling. The waves are pushing us, so he doesn't have much control. Even with both engines going. Probably hard to see how big these wakes are.
Well, that was easier than it looked. The waves and the current was really pushing me around. I didn't have a whole lot of control at the wheel, but luckily it didn't force me towards the shallows. So I think we're through. And it sure is a lot nicer inside here.
Time to go to sleep.
But I'm glad.
Time to go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a 24-hour nap, that's for sure. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? Tentacles. What do you call a fish with 2 knees? Toonie fish.